Welcome to Can You Do a Cosplay Girl? I'm going to run a tutorial now about how to do cosplay. Part 1, how to buy a costume. I'm going to do part 2 later, which is going to be how to assemble a costume, and part 3, how to make a costume. So let's start with number 1, how to buy a costume. Now I know recently more and more cosplayers are actually buying their costumes instead of making them because maybe of time or because of skill or you know, everyone has a different reason for buying a costume. Seeing like this, some people are busy, some people know that they can't sew. So you know, whatever takes you to your point of decision saying I want to buy a costume, you're there now and you want to go and buy something. If you want to buy a costume, you will need a certain amount of money because buying a costume is usually quite expensive if it's in a good quality. You will need, luckily enough, no skill, and you will need a little bit of time to wait till it comes to you and gets delivered. But apart from that, you don't have to invest that much time in it apart from researching it online. Now, first of all, there will be things in your country, so for example eBay or Amazon or similar places where you know where it comes from, you can look at the feedback and you kind of know all the details will be there for you and you've used them before. But for many there will be a peace of mind knowing, oh okay, this is a company I've used before, I feel comfortable with them. Always check if they have your size, if they have your costume, because the problem with these services is there is a limited amount there, you won't get everything there, and it's quite a new thing incoming in most countries, so the amount you can get might be very limited. So for those who can't find their costume on Amazon or eBay or similar services, there is always the option of buying it from abroad. So now lots of people are worried about buying things from abroad, and I got a couple of lists you have to take care of. If you buy a costume, things you have to keep in mind is size, quality and the price, because obviously if you spend a whole lot of money you're more likely to get a good costume, but most of us don't have that much money. So let's see how we're going to do it. First of all, look online, find the costume service that has the costume that you want, and then check them out, meaning look up on other pages, is there any feedback from them, what have other people said, have they bought there, are they happy with the quality. So first of all check out what other people have said about that service, about that webpage. Secondly, you have to check out, do they actually have secure payment services, meaning PayPal or other secure services, which you know that if something goes wrong you're going to get your money back, and it's going to get there alright as well. I would not suggest bank transactions to different countries because they are usually quite expensive, but again paying by credit card is something else. But I know that lots of people are worried about security when buying things online, so check that they have either PayPal or other secure payment services if you're not quite sure about them. Also, when you buy things online, you will probably be aware that it might be in a different currency to yours, so check how much that will actually be in your currency and don't be fooled and pay too much. Always think that on top of the costume price there will come postage and packing, which is sometimes a quite hefty amount, so calculate that in on your spendings for that costume. Also, furthermore, on top of the postage and packing, especially if you send something from a non-EU country into EU country, and I suppose it's vice versa the same, you on top of that have to pay customs, and sometimes that can be quite a cruel amount that you have to pay on top, so be sure that you calculate that in if you get your costume from abroad. So you have the costume price plus the shipping price plus the customs price, which altogether is quite a big amount. So if you order from abroad, be aware that you'll probably have to end up paying a little bit more than, or quite a lot more than just the costume. Fans. Also, if you get your costume delivered, that doesn't say that all the little items are with it. So I'm going to show you a little thing. So for example, that's one of the costumes that I bought. This one was quite good because it had all the details with it. So it had the skirt, it had the shirt, it also had the ribbon, and it had the hairpiece. Lots of things don't come with hairpieces, so I was quite happy about that, seeing the hairpiece with this one. And since it's a school uniform, it's quite simple, there's not that much that can go wrong, and I was quite happy with the result. However, I can show you a bad example. which is this costume that I got, which was quite cheap to be honest, but problem with this is it's also quite cheap in the making. So on the back, for example, you have to adapt some costumes if you get them in a lower quality. So seeing this one, it's just done together with cheap Velcro. So if you want to make this into a proper nice costume, one of the things I'm planning to do with this one is put a zip into the back and adapt the front a bit. However, what I was happy with at that costume is that they provided these ones, and they badass. Badass schoolgirl! Punch, punch! Punch, punch, punch! Another point to consider when you buy things online is time. Sometimes shipping takes quite a lot of time, so if you order the costume in the week right before the convention, it might not be there on time, and you don't want to end up being the only one of your group who's not going in cosplay. So make sure you be there and you order it on time. Order it on time. Another thing, if you get your costume, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything with your costume anymore. There are a lot of things where you have to look at the details of your character. So does your character wear certain kind of earrings? Does your character have a certain kind of face paint? Or maybe a scar somewhere? Does your character have a chain that wasn't in the costume that you got? Or was there maybe a pattern on a belt that they didn't make at where you got the costume from? There's all little tiny details, but that's what makes a costume better if you actually then take it and add these little details into it. And again, once again, don't forget hair color and all these little things. As soon as you add a wig, it will look more professional. Another thing is also shoes. Shoes are usually quite difficult because especially white long boots and so on can be very difficult to buy, or sometimes very expensive to buy. So if you don't have the money to buy certain kind of shoes, which are sometimes very fantastical, see how you get around it. Maybe you wear certain kind of socks over the shoes, maybe you wear overknees instead of boots, and all these little things. I mean, obviously the closer you come to your character the better, but we also understand that not everyone has that much money. Seriously, no one has that much money. So if you don't have that much money, see how you can adapt it and pay attention to those details without overspending on things like shoes, for example. Once again, the advantages and disadvantages of buying your costume. Yes, you don't have to spend time on it, but you have to spend time researching for it and waiting for it. You need absolutely no skill, so that's pretty good for people who can't sew at all. But you'll probably need a quite hefty amount of money if you want to have a good quality costume, so be prepared for that. And then on top, be prepared for the other fees like the postage and the packing and the sending and the customs. So, but apart from that, it's a good option for those who are too busy to make their costumes, and it's usually quite a peace of mind if a really difficult costume comes already like you wanted it. However, please be aware that when you buy a costume, you'll not be able to attend any cosplay contests and win a prize for it, which is only fair because if one person spent a lot of time and money on making a costume and another person just ordered it in, it would be unfair to just give a prize to the person who just bought it. However, what you can still do with your costume is go to a convention, get your pictures taken, hang out with people, make new friends, so that's all fine. So as long as you're okay with not taking part in a costume competition, you know, you can buy it, it's alright, so don't worry about that. So, that's all the things I wanted to say about how to buy a costume online, if you want to buy it online, and all the little things you have to take care of. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down here, in the comment box down there, and I'll see if I can help you with that. Please like the video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to know more about random things in cosplay, and there should be a link up here. Link, that should take you to the second cosplay skills about how to assemble a costume, which is pretty much the medium way between buying a costume and making a costume from scratch. So check that link out, and thanks for watching. So I'll catch you soon.